Imagine your life as a grand architectural structure. Most of us spend our days frantically adding extensions. We build higher towers of career achievement, wider wings of social networks, and deeper basements of accumulated knowledge. We are obsessed with construction, with doing, with acquiring. We believe that if we just build enough, eventually, something magnificent, call it grace, fortune, breakthrough, or profound, peace will arrive to fill the space. But often, it does not arrive. We feel exhausted, burnt out, and strangely empty despite our packed schedules. Why? Because in our obsession with building, we forgot the most crucial architectural element, the open window. We forgot the door. We built a fortress so cluttered with our own efforts and anxieties that nothing new, nothing divine can possibly enter. Today, we are not talking about how to achieve more. We are talking about the sophisticated, often forgotten art of receptivity. We are exploring the preparation, the posture, and the everyday behaviors necessary to receive grace. Grace is not something you hunt down, it is something you make room for. To understand this modern dilemma, we must consult the oldest blueprints of human wisdom. The four great sages of history, Socrates, Buddha, Confucius, and Jesus, though separated by time and culture, all agreed on one fundamental truth. The greatest things in life are not seized by force. They are received by a prepared soul. They teach us that readiness is not passive, waiting. It is an active state of intense inner cultivation. Let us begin with the preparation of the mind, guided by Socrates. In a noisy world convinced of its own expertise, Socrates walked the streets of Athens, teaching the supreme value of knowing that you do not know. This is not feigned ignorance, it is intellectual clearing. Think of your mind like a browser with 1,000 tabs. Open news, worries, ambitions, judgments. When your mental RAM is fully utilized by your own noise, insight cannot load. The Socratic preparation is the daily practice of closing those tabs. It is the humility to say, I might be wrong about how I see this situation. If you are facing a career crisis, the Socratic approach isn't to frantically strategically plan. It is to first stop and ask, what assumptions am I holding on to that might be false? By clearing away the debris of arrogance, you create a vacuum. Nature abhors a vacuum, and so does wisdom. Insight rushes in only when you admit there is space for it. Next, we move to the preparation of behavior, the domain of Confucius. We often think grace arrives only in massive, life-altering moments. Confucius disagrees. He taught that the extraordinary is hidden in the ordinary. He emphasized ritual and propriety in small things. How do you prepare for a great opportunity? Confucius would say, look at how you treat the shoes you take off at the door. Look at how you pour tea for a guest. Look at how you write a routine email. If you treat small moments with sloppiness and impatience, you are signaling to the universe that you are not a careful steward. The modern application is this excellence in the mundane, is the training ground for receiving the profound. If you are praying for a massive financial blessing, but your current finances are chaotic and ignored, you are not ready. The posture of readiness is valuing the now with impeccable attention. When you treat the present moment with reverence, you prepare the vessel to hold greater responsibilities. But even with a humble mind and careful actions, we can be blocked by our own desperate desires. This brings us to the preparation of the spirit taught by the Buddha. The central blockage to receiving is grasping the white-knuckled attachment to how we think things must be. Imagine trying to catch rainwater in your hands. If you clench your fists tightly in desperation, you catch nothing. Only by opening the hand completely and relaxed can the water pool. Buddha taught detachment not as indifference, but as the release of the strangling grip of desire. In your daily life, this means striving for goals without being emotionally destroyed. If they don't happen on your timeline, it is the sophisticated understanding that sometimes the best thing you can do to attract what you want is to stop chasing it so desperately. You create space for grace. When you stop filling that space with anxiety about the future, finally we arrive at the deepest preparation. The posture of the heart articulated by Jesus. He spoke of the poor in spirit. In a modern context, this is not about financial poverty. It is about the utter absence of ego-driven self-sufficiency. It is the realization that ultimately you are not the general of this army, but a soldier waiting for orders. This is the hardest step for the modern achiever. It requires surrender. Not giving up, but giving over. It is the posture of deep trust that says, I have done my preparation, I have cleared my mind. I have tended to my duties, and now I open the door completely to a power greater than my own strategizing. It is moving from the driver's seat to the passenger seat, watching with expectant faith. So how do we translate these high philosophies into a Tuesday afternoon? How do we execute this readiness? It begins with the architecture of your day. Your morning is the foundation. Do you immediately fill your mind with the noise of the world through your phone? Or do you spend the first 20 minutes in Socratic silence, clearing the mental slate? Readiness requires a daily reset to zero. As you move through the day, adopt the Confucian eye. When you feel rushed and are about to cut corners on a task, because it doesn't matter, stop. Remind yourself that this small act is a rehearsal for a larger stage. Do the dishes with the same presence you would bring to signing a major contract. This builds the spiritual muscle of stewardship. When you hit a wall, a rejection, a failure, a delay, apply the Buddhist release. Instead of spiraling into panic, unclench your fists. Breathe! Recognize that your anxiety about the blockage is actually the biggest blockage. Step back and allow the situation to breathe. And in the quiet moments before sleep, adopt the posture Jesus spoke of. Release the illusion of control. End your day not just with a to-do list for tomorrow, but with a to-receive list, an open acknowledgement that you are waiting for insight, for strength, for direction that is not of your own making. Grace, in whatever form it takes, an incredible idea, a sudden healing in a relationship. An unexpected opportunity is like a high-frequency signal broadcast constantly. Most of us are tuned to the static of our own striving. The preparation, the posture, the daily behavior is simply the act of turning the dial, fine-tuning our receiver, and quieting the internal noise, so that the signal can finally come through clearly. Stop building higher walls. Start opening windows. The readiness is the magnet.